Good evening, one and all. I will call to order our Wilsonville City Council meeting for January 23rd, 2020 at 7:01 p.m. and request a roll call, please.
Councillor Linville.
Present.
Council President Ackerval.
Here.
Councillor Lehan.
Here.
Mayor Knapp.
Here.
And Councillor West is excused.
Thank you. Would the audience please rise and join us in a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Boy Scout who's supposed to be here.
Checked out.
So, council, I would be open to a motion on order of agenda.
Your Honor, I move that we accept the order of the agenda.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Order of agenda as published. Copy is available at the side of the room. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you. Bringing us to citizens' input. Is there anything that anyone would like to say? Odessa want to give us any comment? Okay. All right. All right, seeing none. Mayor's business, upcoming meetings. We're kind of in a little bit of a lull here. Let's see, Councilor Ackerval and I are joining a special work session of the Westland-Wilsonville School Board this coming Monday on equity issues, if I understand detail. Maybe you'll want to comment on that upcoming if you got a chance. Not too much else going on immediately. So we shall see. A few meetings probably the first week of February. But anyway, we do have a couple of things going on, and I'd indicated to City Attorney that I would bring up at this point in time. It's my understanding that the citizen initiative with regard to term limits has in fact collected enough signatures to qualify for the ballot. So I wanted to ask Ms. Jacobson to formally kind of guide us on protocol from this point in response to that.
Absolutely. You are correct. Enough signatures were collected. And I have to note for the record tonight that our city elections official, Ms. Kimberly Valise, was advised by county elections officials that there were enough signatures, and that requires her, through me, to notify you at the first meeting after she was advised that we do have enough signatures to put the measure on the ballot in May. Ms. Valise has copies of the petition in her office if any of you wish to take a look at them. As required by statute, as I said, this is the first meeting being held since those results were delivered to us, and therefore that is why I'm advising you about this now. The other information City Council needs to know tonight is that due to time constraints for action and placement of this measure on the May ballot, we will be discussing this measure this will be on the agenda for the February 3 council meeting for discussion and possible decision. Also, because of time constraints at that meeting, staff will prepare alternative resolutions in favor of the measure or rejecting the measure. And those will be included in the packet because obviously we won't know what the council wishes to do until that meeting and discussion is held. Then finally, if the city wishes to place a neutral explanatory statement concerning the measure in the voters' pamphlet, should you decide to refer this to the voters, then in accordance with state election laws, the City Council will also need to pass an ordinance that authorizes doing so. And therefore, not knowing again what council's pleasure will be and the time constraints, staff will also prepare and notice an ordinance that authorizes the city manager or the city attorney to prepare and submit a neutral explanatory statement pursuant to the requirements of state law should you decide to place this on the ballot. The ordinance, again, will then be discussed and voted on at the February 3 council meeting, along with a resolution to either accept or reject the ballot measure. And I would also note for the record that Councilor West did contact me by telephone since he wouldn't be here, and so I advised him effectively of the same thing I just mentioned to you.
Okay. So that kind of is the process that's upcoming. Several decisions for council to make after presentation of that material and opportunity to discuss this coming next council meeting. So any questions for city staff at this point? All right, sounds like we can handle that, and staff is clear. Nothing from council needed at this point, right?
Correct. Next week will be the week, our next meeting will be the time we'll
Okay.
really get into this.
All right, so we will plan to have that discussion and make those decisions at the next meeting. I don't know if I have any other specific issues. Like I say, we kind of got a lull in upcoming meetings. I don't think there's anything I need to really bring forward right now, but I will ask the rest of council what information you might like to communicate to the rest of us or to the public, starting with Councilor President Akkerval.
Sure. Let's see, I think in the last few weeks, I've attended a couple of events along with some of the other members of council here. And I bet that maybe Councilor Linville will talk about the town hall meeting that we both attended this last weekend. I did want to make a mention of something else that I also attended last night. Representative Courtney Neuron hosted a event at our library last night along with Family Preservation Project and did a showing of a documentary, Mother Inside, on some of the work of Family Preservation Project that's happening at Coffee Creek Correctional Facility. And that was very educational, and it was a good event. I was glad to have gotten to attend both that and the panel discussion that followed. And as kind of a side note, you know, I mean, I went away that evening grateful for the event, but also grateful for so much activity that's happening in our library, that our library plays host to. That afternoon, just prior to that event, I was there for a Girl Scouts meeting with my daughter, and you know, the same space bounces between those two events or meetings, you know, within the period of 2 hours, and just kind of the wealth of activity that's happening in our library, and it's really terrific to see that. I also wanted to comment on the opportunity that we had to speak with the Citizens Academy this last week, and express my appreciation both to staff for organizing that again this year, and also to all the participants that are interested in learning more about the city and possibly ways that they can be involved, and also just the functionings of the many groups and efforts and work that goes into running the city of Wilsonville. And as Mayor Knapp mentioned, we'll be attending a meeting this coming Monday, hosted by the school board, which is a continuum, as I understand, a continuum of the Equity Summit that was held a few months ago here in our region, and looking forward to that discussion and ongoing discussion on the work that is to be done jointly in all of our different roles and facets and ways that we touch community members. So that's coming up.
All right, thank you very much. Councilor Lehan.
I attended a couple of things last week. One was the Citizens Academy, and which I think everybody here was there, I think so. But so I don't need to tell you guys. But I continue to be impressed with how well that is organized by Zoe and others on the staff who work on that project and the enthusiasm of the people who attend and want to be involved in the city through Citizens Academy. So very impressed with that program and our citizens. I was also at the French Prairie Forum last week and did a presentation on Willamette Falls and Landings heritage area. So I need to schedule a time to do that for this council also, since they have a new presentation, so that Wilsonville is up to speed on how that is moving forward, because it's in the process of perhaps getting congressional approval for a national heritage area, which we're pretty much smack in the middle of. So we would be impacted by it, and it would be good if we, I know we've done this in the past, but could again pass on a letter of support, enthusiasm, whatever. But I would be happy to schedule a time for about a 10, 15-minute presentation
Okay,
for the council.
that's something you can work with staff on scheduling, maybe
Yeah.
in our communications segment on an upcoming meeting when it's,
When we don't have a busy meeting
okay?
tonight, it's way too busy.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right, Councilor Linville.
Well, I also attended the French Prairie Forum and participated in a small way in the discussion about where we are with the Willamette Falls Locks Commission and the legislation that is now going to be under discussion in the short session, and hopefully we'll get some funding. But one of the things that was discussed, this meeting was really about the river and the Willamette River, and as it impacts all of our communities from the falls all the way upriver to Newburgh. And one of the things that I was really impressed with was the discussion about the wake surfing and that issue as it's being dealt with both at the state level and with the Marine Board, I believe. And the thing that impressed me was the discussion about, certainly the first thing that comes to mind are the issues around erosion and property values and destruction of personal property that might be boathouses or docks or whatever, and differentiating that from wakeboarding, which does not require the size of wave that the wake surfing requires. But the interesting thing to me was the discussion about what that movement of water does to the ecology of the shoreline, particularly as it relates to both the soil and the water and the animals, the fish, and the destruction of the habitat, which I had, that was the first time we had, the River Keepers did a short presentation. And that really was an impressive piece to listen to. And I think both the biology and the ecology of what those impacts were really impressive for me to hear. Secondly, I also wanted to comment on the Citizens Academy, but from the perspective that I believe that Wilsonville is very, very fortunate to have the level of citizen participation. When we listened at our last meeting about all of the people who were willing to step forward for councils and commissions, And thank you to the mayor for interviewing each one of those. But while that may have appeared to be rather tedious to us, not only were those people interested, but now we have an entire group in the Citizens Academy. This community is very fortunate to have that level of citizen participation. And then I think lastly, we did attend the town hall meeting for Senator Wyden had at Meridian Creek Middle School on Saturday. And I don't know, maybe there were 150 people there, or at least, or maybe 200. Good questions asked. I think he certainly was open to just about anything that anybody wanted to ask. It was an unscripted, open forum where people had a lottery for tickets for asking their questions, and so it was just simply a give and take between the senator and the citizens, and I think it was a very nice environment, I think, for people to be heard. And so I was glad that I was able to go. And I am looking forward to the event that will be, I believe it's the day after our next council meeting. Greg Leo, the Leo group is doing a presentation on, particularly on the influencing, how you can influence local government at the state, regional, and local level. And that will be at our library, I believe, on the 4th, I think it's Tuesday the 4th at 6:30 at our library. And so I encourage people to go to that as well. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Did you want to mention a history event coming up?
Is there one coming up?
28th at McMillan? History?
Oh, I don't know. What is it? You want to announce it?
Well, my crib sheet says January 28th, 6:30 at McMillan's History Pub.
Well, yes, it's the last Tuesday of every month except December, but I don't know what the topic is what I'm saying. I'd have to look it up. I can look it up, though, before we get there, before the end of the meeting. I'll look it up just in a minute. But I wanted to also make an announcement about at Charbonneau, they are having a chess tournament.
Oh, yes.
On next Tuesday, and it's at the clubhouse, and it's a fundraiser for Friends of French Prairie, but it's only $20 and includes, snacks and wine and et cetera. But they're having Nick Raptis, who is a internationally ranked chess player, and he's going to play 20 people at one time. So they will all be in a circle. He will be standing in the middle, and he will walk around, and he seems to think he can beat 20 people in about 30 minutes. So if you would like to play some chess, this would be your opportunity. And then, assuming he takes care of all the people in 30 minutes, then he's going to give tips on how to improve your chess game. So you also get some pointers on improving your chess game. So if you know any chess players, that would be at the clubhouse at Charbonneau, 6:30 on the 29th, which is not Tuesday, next Wednesday, the 29th.
And I might mention that I think with the $20, I think there is wine tasting that will occur, but there will also be some very fine wines for purchase.
Yes.
And all of the proceeds will go to Friends of French Prairie.
Yes, and they will be auctioning off a bunch of chess sets.
Yes.
Of various
Collector
kinds.
items, some of
Collector
them.
item chess sets will be part of the auction also. So any of your chess friends, you should, it should be, I'm not a chess player, but I think it will be great to watch, a lot of fun to watch. I hope, and I think we have a couple of kids who will be playing also.
The state, I think, champion in Wilsonville.
So, yeah, I have to ask from the venue of your announcement, whether you think politicians or people involved in politics should especially be polishing their chess moves or not,
Yeah,
or something, you know?
yes. Are you a player?
I am not a player, so I won't be polishing much of anything.
Well, I know there are more and more kids playing at the grade school and
Yeah.
middle school level, so,
I
it
will
should
be
be fun.
watching.
yeah,
Okay.
it will be fun.
Enough of that. Mr. Cosgrove.
Peter Burnett. That's the subject of the History Pub.
Oh, you looked it up.
The leader who could not lead.
Okay.
Apparently, he was the defense attorney for Joseph Smith, Oregon's first Supreme Judge and the first governor of California.
Okay.
And nobody remembers him.
Apparently not, yeah.
There's your premise.
Certainly I don't.
You're welcome, McMinimums.
Yeah. Anything else? For city manager business, anything else? No. Legal business? Nothing further. Council, anything else we need to do?
Can't think on it.
I guess we will call adjournment 7:21. Thank you.
That is a record.
Yahoo!